Hello everyone, this is Satvik, and in this video we'll be discussing about how to pentest a WordPress website. So if you start solving this capture the flags, like most of the Linux boxes or Windows boxes, if it is based on web exploitation, then you can see most of the times a WordPress website over there. So WordPress is, like, if you don't know, WordPress is one of a open source CMS, so content management system, like which makes to create a website. Okay, so you can import a WordPress document, WordPress template. There are a lot of WordPress templates. You can go over there and you can start writing your blogs for like almost for free. Like only you need to spend on hosting charges. That's it. So that is regarding the WordPress. So since it is the free and open source, like you can see it on most of the capture the flags. Okay, so like in this video we'll be discussing about what to do when you find a WordPress website. And for this example I'm using a retro box, so it is also based on WordPress. So I'll leave the link for that in the description below, so you can do check that out, and it is a free box, so no need to worry. And now coming back, so these are the steps that I basically follow. Okay, so like first of all I need to identify whether it is running on WordPress or not. So that's the basic thing. Like if it is not running on WordPress, what is the use? Okay, so checking over that. So like sometimes you may find it on the same location, sometimes it may not. Okay, so then I do user enumeration. I'll check for the comments, some brute forcing and uploading the shell. So this is the basic stuff. Like it may be simple to say, but we'll be using few tools. Okay, I'll be showing you all these tools. Okay, so coming back, so this is the retro machine. So you can see if I there is a port 80 open. So when I go to this particular what you say, this IP address, you can see something like a Windows server. So it is like an IIS server. Okay, so Windows as like a basic thing. So how to identify whether it is running on WordPress or not? So sometimes the Vapalizer detects it. So if you go to the Vapalizer, is an extension, so it identifies the technologies. So you can see it is the WordPress 5.2.1 here. Even though there is nothing here, it's detecting. But sometimes like it may not detect it. Sometimes you may see the default page like an Apache server. If it is Linux, since it is a Windows page, you can see a default IIS server page. So how to do that is like file and directory discovery. That's the thing that I basically do. So you can use tools like Dirbuster, Dirsearch, GoBuster, Derble. There are a lot of tools. You can use whatever you want. Okay, it's fine, it's completely your taste. So I like using this Dirbuster, and you can see it found me few locations. There is a location like /retro. So if I go to that location, okay, so I'm closing this thing. So if I go to this location, you can see there is a website over here. So there, once you find a proper blog or a website sort of thing, then the Vapalizer doesn't have any issue detecting it. Okay, so and sometimes if you don't trust Vapalizer, if you scroll down bottom to the page, sometimes you can see it is mentioned as powered by WordPress. Like a lot of the websites show that, but it is not showing over here. Maybe they edited the code. Okay, so scrolling up a little bit, so you can use Vapalizer, Whatweb, or any built with. There are tons of tools which tries to identify the technologies that these websites are using. If you go over there, you can see WordPress 5.2.1. Like you can even search whether it can be exploitable or not. But trust me, guys, like most of these WordPress websites require authentication, so keep that in mind. You have a PHP, it is built on PHP. You have something like a Windows server because it is based on Windows. The sub web version is also IIS 10.0. It is built some JavaScript queries and some stuff like that. Okay, so now that's the basic thing. So we identified it is running on the WordPress. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Then that user enumeration. Okay, so how to do the user enumeration is like sometimes you can go through the blogs. You can see the name is Wade. Okay, like every blog over here in this page, you can see the name is Wade. So there is a high possibility that the username or the person who is managing this particular domain or this website is Wade. Okay, so how to check that? So you can go to something like wp-login.php. Okay, so like you will even find that on this Dirbuster scan as well. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Like you may not like if you like most of the login stuff is based on here itself, or you can scroll down or up a little bit and you can see like login over here. Okay, so anything is fine. Okay, anything is literally fine. Okay, that's the basic thing that we basically do. Okay, so we try to log in. Okay, so like as I told you, most of these what you say this WordPress vulnerabilities or exploits, they require an authentication. So that's it. So you can see you have something like this. And one cool feature of this WordPress, I say, It's a feature because it is really good for the pen testers. Like I can type a name wait, and I can type any password. I don't know, I'm typing just word password, and if I hit login, okay, so it tries to tell you whether the username is correct or not. So that's literally cool, it's really cool, like at least for the in the pen tester's perspective. So like you can try some default users are like admin, so sometimes the admin may not be present. Okay, so that is the case here. So that is the thing. So it is loading up because since it's a Windows, right, we all know how buggy this Windows and how slow the Windows is. So it is taking its time. And so that comes with the user enumeration. Like you can do user enumeration in the way that I've done. Like you can go through the blocks and you can try to identify the name. And also there is one more tool. Okay, you can see there the password you entered for the user weight is incorrect. So this concludes that the weight is a possible user. Like let us assume that you are unable to find the username like this. Okay, like you got some big name like Sai Satvik, you don't know what the username may be. Okay, so how to do that in that case is like you can use a tool called as WP scan. Okay, so WP scan hyphen hyphen URL and paste the URL where this thing is available. Okay, I think this is the one. Once I'll cross verify, it's 95. Okay, so give the location. So it is retro. It is located in the location called as a retro. Okay, and like you can do hyphen hyphen help here. So there are few options here. Like you can have this WP scan is like a big tool. Okay, like literally one of the good tool. Like you can do a lot of stuff with this thing, but we'll be discussing up to a small format. Okay, so like how I basically use it. So you can, if you want, there are a ton of options that you can check out. So the basic and an important option is the URL option. So you can provide the URL with whether it can be HTTP, HTTPS, or whatever it is. Okay, so there is an option called as enumerate. So hyphen e, it enumerates for the plugins. Okay, so this WordPress is based on plugins and themes. Okay, so those may be not much be useful, but there is an option called as hyphen u. So it tries to identify the users. Okay, so we'll be trying to do that. Okay, hyphen e and u. Okay, so it tries to identify the valid user. So sometimes this will be really good for you. Like there are some situations where you may not be finding out the stuff. Okay, so it may be something like this. In the meantime, I'll pause this Deadbuster scan. You can see it found me like a lot of information over here in this retro location. So those are going to be really valuable for us. Okay, the reason why I'm stopping is like I don't recommend you to stop, because since this is a video, right, so I don't want to don't want to slow up the server. So since we are running a scan, it is slowing up the server much more slower, much more what you say, something like that. So you can use something like WP scan. Okay, so I'll tell you once again. So you don't need to install this WP scan. So it is completely for the WordPress. Okay, you cannot use this on other stuff. So it is built for the WordPress sites and like to find out the vulnerabilities and stuff. So we are providing the URL, so where this WordPress is available, and the enumerate option for the users. Guys, it took some time, and you can see it gave me some good information over here. Like you can see what are the headers and stuff. Like it is even identifying the server type. There is something like XML RPC. Where is the README found? Like you may sometimes find something interesting in the README, so you can go over there. Like there is cron.php. So like there are some relevant references for this. Okay, so if you want to check that out, you can go and check that out. Okay, like you can see the version is 5.2.1. It is identified as insecure version because it is of old type. So but as I told you, most of these exploits require a login authentication, and you can see the WordPress theme that is being used is 90s retro. It even finds a lot of information like who is the author and stuff. So now it is coming to the users identified. So you can see by looking into the blogs and stuff, you can see it is able to identify username as Wade. Like it was unable to identify username as admin because the admin is not available here. Okay, so that is the cool thing. Like you can use this WP scan in order to enumerate the users. Okay, like most of the time I use this WordPress WP scan for the username enumeration, because like if you don't know where to fire, okay, on which user to fire, like you can use in the later sections, like in order to find out the password, we can do brute force attack, password spraying. There are a lot of attacks, but if you don't know on which user to try out on this, like it is useless. So first of all, identifying all the possible users is like a cool thing. So that being said, so we identified the user. So now there is important thing, so I don't call it much important, like in the CTF's perspective. So you can see comments, right? So every blog here, you can see if you go back here, let me go back. It is loading up. So every what you say, like every blog in this particular WordPress is something as an article. It's an article, and these articles has some sort of like what you say comments. Like if you scroll down up a little down, you can see there are some comments over here. So sometimes you can leave the comments. Okay, so sometimes in the CTFs, in order to make it simple, so they leave some important stuff in the in the comments. So it is always a better idea to look for the comments. Okay. And also guys, like after some time in the by doing the scan using the dirt buster, so I was able to find out a location. So it looks pretty interesting. So let me copy this location and let me paste it over here and let me hit enter. So this shows me all the comments or the feed. You can see when I try to access it, I got a file over here. Let me open that file, and you can see this shows me all the comment section. So these are the comments for the retro fanatics. So that's the website name. You can see comment on the Ready Player One. So like leaving myself a note here in case I forgot how to spell Percival. So I don't know what it means. So let me copy this thing. Maybe there is a potential password. Okay, it may be a potential password. So let's try that. It's just a potential, it's a guess guys. Okay, you don't, it may not always need to be a password. Okay, but since it is showing me as like don't forget or something like that, it's giving me some sort of like vibes, like a password sort of vibes. I'm just trying out over there, but sometimes it may not always be a password. Okay, it may be a username. Sometimes you don't know, right? You can expect anything. Then like if you're able to, so that's the reason why I check for the comments. So sometimes in the CTFs, in order to make like in the real time, you may not able to see some much information in the comment section, but in the CTFs, in order to make this a bit easy, so checking in the comments, like where to find comments, in the sense like if you do a directory forcing, so try to access the URLs. Okay, we show something like comments, like you may get some sort of a file, and if you open that, you can see all the comments in the one place. Okay, so that is the one, and you can see I was successfully able to log in, and I'm admin here. You can see I have almost all the permissions, and you can see I'm an admin. But what if I don't know? Like what if I don't know how to, if the pass, if I'm unable to find the password, so how to do it? So there comes an important tool called as brute forcing. So brute forcing or password spraying or whatever it is. Okay, so let us assume you found out few passwords. Okay, like two or three passwords. Okay, so you can try to inject it. Like you, let us assume that you found one password, and you find like sorry for the spelling typo, and if you find like 10 users, so you can use that same password over the 10 users, and this is called as a password spraying. So you can do that, like it's sort of a brute force attack. Or example, since this is a CTF style, okay, so you can use the user. So the username is Wade over here, and you can do something like you can use some word list like rocky.txt or something like that. Okay, something like those files. Okay, or you can create your own file. So I leave the link for that, like how you can create your own password word list, in the description below. You can do check that out. I already made videos on that. And guys, now you can use a command like this. Okay, so WordPress scan hyphen URL. You can provide the URL. You can provide the passwords word list. Or for example, if you know the password, like if you're doing password spraying, you will be having only one password maybe. So you can give the password over here. And if you have the username's text file, you can give the text file as well. So anything is fine. And then it starts performing the attack. Okay, so against one user. Okay, so if you want, like you can change it. So if you have like multiple users over here, you can provide the file name. Okay, it is simple, pretty simple. And you can also use some other tools. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control C because I don't want to like waste some time over here, because we already found the password. But sometimes since we are focusing on CTF, so there is a good chance that the password may be, or maybe coming from this rocky.txt. Or sometimes if the CTF developer or the person who developed that CTF box may be providing you some sort of a word list file over there. So try to use them so that it will be much optimal for you. Okay, so you can use whatever you want, a word list. You can create a custom word list, or sometimes in some file locations in that particular website itself, you can try to find out some text files which consist of these passwords and some stuff like that. So that's a good thing. So you can use WP scan, and also you can use something called as burp suit. So I already made a video on burp suit, like how to use an option called as intruder, but I'm also going to show you that. And not only the burp suit. Okay, so you can also use something like Hydra. These are like much more like Hydra requires more options and stuff, but like if you are familiar with this WP scan and also the burp suit, it is going to be good. Okay, you don't need to worry much about that. So let me start this burp suit. I'm not going to do the complete what you say the attack. I'm just going to show you how it actually works. Okay, so turn on the go to the website, go to that website over there. So let me go to the proxy. So this is in the burp, so intercept is on. So let me go back to the websites and let me turn on the proxy. And also guys, if you want to learn about how to use this burp suit and stuff, so you can check out my course, which I'll be leaving in the description below, which is available for free. If I click on login, you can see you have a request like this. Okay, so you can see the request with the login weight and the password. So I can right click over there and I can send this to the intruder, and I'm going to turn off the intercept. And in the intruder, first click on clear and only choose a location where you want to brute force. I'm going to use on password, so add. And I'm going to go to the payloads. Like you can load some payloads or you can paste some stuff, okay, some sort of stuff like that, and you can get the stuff. Okay, so that is how it is done. And once you paste your payload or some word list sort of thing, if you click on start attack, it is going to start attacking. So based on the request and also the size of that, so you can try to identify whether it is like a valid password or not. Okay, so if you want to know more about that, I'll leave the link for that in the description below, so no need to worry regarding that. So once you get the password, okay, so since we already got the password over here, so let me paste the password over here. So since you already got the password, so the next step here is going to be like uploading the shell. So once you get the access to the dashboard, so you can simply upload a shell via editor. So I'll show you how you can do that. Okay, so we got something like this. Okay, so now we can go to something like in the appearance like theme editor. And guys, now you can see the page like this. So it took me some time to load. So if you go to this appearances and in the theme editor, you can see there are a lot of themes over here. So which is called as, there are some few themes, but 90s retro is the theme which is available right now, right? So that's the theme that we are going to look for. And also like if you scroll down a little bit, so since we are dealing with the PHP, so choose a template which is based on PHP. So for example, this 404 template, the file name is 404.php, and here you can see the theme name. So try to find out the theme name. Okay, so theme name is going to play a crucial role. And also if you do the WordPress scan, WP scan over this URL, like you can even find the theme name there. So you have a PHP code over here, so let us modify that. But before that, like you can see PHP cross platform reverse shell, for example. Like since this is based on what you say the this is based on Windows, like most of the PHP reverse shells may be written for the Linux. So try to choose a thing. Okay, so for example, I'm going to choose something like this. Let me go back. You can see a few reverse shells over here. So PHP reverse shell and some sort of stuff like that. So you can open any one of those. Okay, or you can use something like some other shells. There are a lot of shells that you can check out for. Okay, so it is good. So you can see this is the thing. And so just go to the raw. Okay, just go to the raw over here and just copy the code. Okay, this is the PHP code. Just paste it over here. So okay, so this is how basically you do, and you can see the host address and the port number is necessary. So these are going to be the L host and the L port. So how to do that is simple. So find out your L host. So IP space A. So this is my L host. Okay, and I'm going to modify this thing over here. And also the L port. So the port which I'm going to listen on, which is going to be 1337. Okay, so and then I'll start my nc-nvlp 1337. So I don't know whether this payload works or not, but I'm just showing you for the demo. Okay, so like I'm starting the listener listener over here as well. Okay, so like in order to receive the connection, you need to have a listener. So we modified everything. So now hit on update the file. So now it is going to be updated. So this 404.php file is whenever you try to access this 404.php file, this particular reverse shell is going to run over here. So where you can find this 404.php, it is pretty simple. So go to the location where you are on. So WP content, the themes, in the themes, what is the theme that we edited, and the file name. Okay, so I'll show you once again. So this is the location, like the default location, like you can make note of this thing, okay, because you don't need to forget it every time. I'll just paste it over here. Let me hit enter, and you can see we got a shell over here. So that is it, guys. Like once you find out a way, once you find a way to get access to this dashboard, this WordPress dashboard, then you can, it is as simple as like uploading, copy pasting a shell and modifying view values. So that being said, this is how you basically try to brute force over this WordPress websites, okay, WordPress based website. So first of all, we need to identify whether it is running on WordPress or not. Like that's the basic thing. And then user enumeration, like most of these exploits require like there are other exploits as well. Like for example, you can search for some, whether it is running on like WordPress. For example, I'll show you an example. WordPress 5.0, I guess, exploit. For example, if I search for that, you can see there is a exploit for me. But if you scroll down, if you analyze the code little bit, so it is going to ask you for the username as well as the password. So like if in order to do most of the things in the WordPress, like you need to have the credentials. So credentials is one important thing that you need to do. Okay, and that's the reason checking in the comments, since we're on the CTF, you may find something juicy information, and then brute forcing or injecting the password that you obtained. Okay, and then you get an access to the shell editor, okay, like this dashboard, and then you can navigate to something like appearance, and there in the theme editor, and in the theme editor you can choose any of the theme. And since we are dealing with a PHP reversion, so choose a file with the extension .php. Like if you edit this style.css, it is not going to execute. Okay, it is going to be useless. So I edited that and I tried to access that. So where you can access that, so like you can find something like WP content, WordPress content, the themes, and which theme, and what is the file in the theme. That is it, pretty simple. So that is it, guys, like how you can basically pen test a WordPress. Like I hope you'll make use of this video. Okay, so like I've covered till like a normal part itself. Like there is no privilege escalation part, I cannot cover it because that's a different topic, and I already made a lot of videos on that, and I'll leave the link for those playlists in the description as well, so you can go and check that out from there. This is Satvik signing off. I'll meet you in the next video. And also, guys, if you end up liking this video, make sure to like it and do share with your friends who are really interested in this sort of stuff. Thank you.